Welcome back to the channel, everyone. We're diving into some pretty heavy stuff today. The recent congressional hearing on UAPs.
Yeah, it's been making headlines for a reason.
It really has. There were some, honestly, concerning revelations about how the government's been handling this whole UAP issue.
Absolutely. We're talking allegations of cover-ups, disinformation campaigns aimed at whistleblowers.
And even, whispers of these crash retrieval programs.
Some pretty wild stuff came out.
Yeah, where do we even begin with all of this?
Well, Rear Admiral Tim Gallaudet's testimony is a good place to start, I think.
Yeah.
He talked about this email he got during a naval exercise.
Oh, wow.
Back in 2015. And the subject line, get this, it said, urgent safety of flight issue.
That's intense.
It was. And the email had a video attached. It's called the Go Fast video now.
Okay.
And it showed this object doing things that aircraft just shouldn't be able to do.
Like what kind of things?
I mean, we're talking crazy speeds, sharp turns, things that seem to defy physics.
Wow.
But here's the really unsettling part. The email vanished the next day.
Vanished?
Yeah, gone. And no one, not even the officer who sent it, ever mentioned it again.
That's straight out of some spy movie.
It really is. And it makes you wonder about, what they're trying to hide.
It definitely raises some red flags about efforts to suppress information.
Right. And it wasn't just this one incident.
Oh.
Chris Mellon, he's a former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence. He testified that Congress hasn't even seen satellite imagery from 2017 that supposedly shows a UAP.
So they're withholding evidence from Congress now.
It seems that way. This UAP, by the way, is nicknamed the Button because of its shape.
Interesting.
Yeah, so we've got potential safety hazards being ignored and evidence being kept from Congress.
It really makes you wonder, what are they so afraid of?
I think that's the million-dollar question.
Maybe Lou Elizondo's testimony can shed some light on that.
Possibly. He's a former Department of Defense official who ran the ATIP.
Right, the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. That's the program that confirmed those UAP videos we saw a few years back.
Exactly, the ones that showed objects, doing those impossible maneuvers.
Right, defying physics.
Yep. Elizondo's testimony was shocking, to say the least. He stated, under oath, that the U.S. government has UAP technologies.
Hold on, he actually said that?
He did. He even said he signed a document that wouldn't let him talk about crash retrieval programs.
Wow, are we talking tech from other countries or something else?
He didn't use the word alien, but it definitely felt implied.
Yeah.
And to make things even more complicated, he mentioned that the government's been paying people who've been injured by UAPs.
So they're not just observing them?
It would seem that way.
Okay. So the government has UAP technology, people are getting hurt. What are they trying to keep quiet?
Well, a document that was added to the congressional record during the hearing might have some answers.
Oh yeah, the one Representative Luna joked about getting them all on a list for mention.
That's the one. It talks about a secret UAP program called Immaculate Constellation.
Oh.
Journalist Michael Schellenberger looked into it, and the document describes it as like a central hub for all UAP observations.
So all their intel on UAPs is going to this program.
It seems so. Imagery, signals, even human intelligence.
Wow.
Schellenberger says they have high-quality images and videos of UAPs.
Like what?
Footage of orbs off the coast of Kuwait, a triangle-shaped UAP over some ships.
Are there a lot of these visuals?
He suggested there could be hundreds, maybe even thousands.
Thousands. Why would they have all that and keep it hidden even from Congress?
It's bizarre, right?
Yeah.
Michael Gold, a former NASA official who was on the NASA UAP independent study team, also called for more transparency.
It makes sense for NASA to be involved. They've got the experience with space and a reputation for good science.
Absolutely. Gold emphasized getting rid of the stigma around UAP research and said NASA should have a bigger role.
What exactly did he suggest?
He said NASA should use its archives and be like a central place for UAP data from civilian and commercial sources.
Oh, that's interesting.
He also suggested using NASA's Aviation Safety Reporting System, the ASRS, for pilots to report UAP sightings confidentially.
It's a good idea. Pilots are often the ones seeing these things, and if they can report without fear of being ridiculed, we might get more information.
Right, but here's the thing. Even dedicated research teams are being kept in the dark.
You're kidding.
Nope. Gold said the NASA UAP study team wasn't told about Immaculate Constellation, even though he tried to tell them about it.
This is unbelievable. We're talking about national security, potential scientific breakthroughs, maybe even extraterrestrial life, and they're keeping it all secret.
It's frustrating, right?
Incredibly frustrating.
This lack of transparency was a big theme throughout the hearing.
It sounds like it.
Almost every witness talked about the need for more oversight from Congress and for the public to have access to this information.
So they're all calling for accountability. Did any of the representatives offer solutions?
Well, some of them mentioned specific legislation to increase transparency and data collection.
Like what?
Representative Garcia talked about his amendment to the National Defense Authorization Act.
I don't remember hearing about that.
It would create a UAP records review board, kind of like the JFK Assassination Records Collection Act.
So a board that could declassify UAP information. Did it pass?
It got blocked in the House, but Senators Rounds and Schumer put a similar amendment in the Senate version.
So there's still a chance.
Yep. Imagine a board with the power to release classified documents, photos, videos.
That would be huge. What kind of things could we see?
Who knows? It could change everything we think we know about this phenomenon.
It's exciting, but also a little scary.
For sure, but even if the UAP Disclosure Act doesn't pass, the government's under a lot of pressure to be more transparent.
People want answers, and Congress is starting to demand them.
This feels like a real turning point in how we talk about UAPs.
You know, you're right. There was this sense of urgency throughout the hearing.
Especially from the witnesses with military backgrounds.
They really seemed concerned about the implications for national security.
Like Representative Tim Burchett, he questioned Elizondo about threats to personnel and even our nuclear readiness.
Yeah, you could hear the worry in his voice. It wasn't just theoretical for him.
Absolutely. And a lot of the representatives from both parties were frustrated that the Pentagon and intelligence agencies weren't cooperating.
It seemed like they hit a wall every time they tried to get a straight answer.
Especially about older incidents, like Representative Grothman brought up the 2004 Tic Tac incident.
The one where the Navy pilot saw that weird object?
Yeah, he was like, why is this still classified after 20 years?
I mean, what possible reason could there be?
No one from the government would answer that.
Classic.
Representative Burchett also pressed Elizondo about overclassifying UAP information. He said, you can't have an informed public debate if everything's top secret.
It's true. You can't have transparency without information.
Right. Elizondo gave a couple of reasons for the secrecy. He mentioned the Cold War.
Saying they didn't want to tip off the Soviets.
Yeah, but the Cold War ended over 30 years ago.
Exactly. That excuse doesn't really fly anymore.
He also said maybe the government doesn't want to admit they don't have all the answers.
It's easier to classify it than to say, we don't know.
Basically, but we're talking about potential threats here. We need to know what's going on.
I agree. The stakes are too high to play those games.
And that's why so many representatives are pushing for transparency and accountability.
They want to know what the government knows and why they're keeping it from us.
Exactly, and the witnesses echoed that sentiment.
So they're all on the same page.
It seems so. They all agreed that Congress needs all the information to make decisions about UAPs and national security.
This is big.
It is. It feels like we're finally having an open and honest conversation about UAPs.
Did any specific concerns come up in these discussions?
Representative Luna brought up some interesting points about potential biological effects from UAP encounters.
Oh, wow. Like,
She mentioned details from the Immaculate Constellation document, reports of people feeling uneasy, electronics malfunctioning,
okay.
even long-term psychological effects, anxiety, insomnia.
That's a bit unsettling.
It is, and it shows that we need a more scientific approach to this whole thing.
We need more than just stories and blurry videos, right?
Exactly. We need hard data, testable hypotheses.
So better data collection and a more scientific approach. What about getting more people to share their experiences?
That's crucial. The Safe Airspace for Americans Act could help with that.
How so?
It would protect civilians who report UAP sightings, so they wouldn't be afraid to come forward.
That makes sense. The more information we have, the better.
Right, and this isn't just about identifying objects, it's about understanding what they mean for humanity.
Are they advanced tech from another country? Or are they something completely new that challenges everything we know about physics and reality?
Those are the big questions. The answers could change everything.
It's both thrilling and terrifying to think about.
I agree, but one thing's for sure, we can't ignore this anymore.
The truth is out there. We just have to find it.
This hearing was a big step toward a more open and honest discussion about UAPs.
And I don't think we can go back from that.
I agree. This is just the beginning. Yeah, it feels like we're finally acknowledging that this is something worth talking about seriously.
And not just talking about it, but actually investigating it properly.
Right, because there are some serious national security issues here.
Exactly. Like we were just saying, those concerns about threats to personnel and even our nuclear readiness,
It's only natural for the military to be worried about these things flying around our airspace, especially if we don't know what they are.
especially if they have technology that's more advanced than ours, like Elizondo suggested.
Yeah, then you're talking about potential espionage, maybe even hostile actions. We can't just ignore that.
And that's another thing that came out of the hearing. We need a more scientific approach to all of this.
Absolutely. We can't just rely on eyewitness accounts and grainy videos. We need real data.
It's about time we treated this phenomenon with the same rigor as any other scientific field.
Right. Think about all the progress we've made in understanding the universe.
We've mapped galaxies, found gravitational waves, we've even taken pictures of black holes.
Imagine what we could discover if we put that same effort into studying UAPs.
It could revolutionize our understanding of physics, technology, who knows what else.
It's not just about science, though. This raises some pretty big philosophical questions, too.
Yeah, if some of these objects really are evidence of non-human intelligence, that changes everything.
How would we even interact with them? What are the ethical implications of meeting a civilization that's more advanced than us?
These are questions we need to be asking as a society.
And it's not a conversation just for scientists and the government. Everyone needs to be involved.
This isn't some niche topic anymore. It could affect all of us.
We need to be open-minded, willing to challenge our assumptions.
And be prepared for the possibility that we might have to rethink everything we thought we knew about the universe.
It's a bit daunting, but also kind of exciting, don't you think?
It is. It speaks to our curiosity, our desire to explore the unknown.
This hearing, it's like opening a Pandora's box. We're just starting to glimpse what's inside.
And whatever those answers are, they're going to be fascinating.
I have a feeling this is just the tip of the iceberg. We're going to be talking about this for a long time.
It feels like we're at a turning point in our understanding of UAPs. And I'm glad we're finally having this conversation.
Yeah, it really does feel like things are starting to change. We're finally getting somewhere with this whole UAP thing.
And hopefully that momentum keeps building with transparency as a priority.
Absolutely. The public has a right to know what's going on. These aren't just questions for the government.
Exactly. It's time to move away from all the secrecy and really open up the research.
We need scientists from all different fields. We need international cooperation. And we need people to feel safe reporting what they see.
This is a global issue. We need a global effort to understand it.
We need to work together, share our knowledge and resources if we're going to get to the bottom of this.
And it's not just about finding answers. It's about asking the right questions in the first place.
Right. Like if we do encounter a technologically advanced civilization, how do we approach that ethically? How does that change our understanding of, well, everything?
Those are huge questions. They go way beyond science. They touch on who we are as humans.
It's a chance to really think about our place in the universe, maybe even redefine it.
And maybe it'll lead to something even bigger, a deeper understanding of how everything's connected.
It's a lot to take in, but it's also incredibly exciting.
This whole conversation, it's been mind-blowing, to be honest. This congressional hearing, all the implications of what we're learning about UAPs, it's just the beginning.
Yeah, we've only just scratched the surface, but hopefully we've sparked some curiosity, given people something to think about.
We need to keep exploring, keep asking questions, keep pushing for answers.
The truth is out there, we just have to keep looking for it.
This has been an incredible journey, and thanks for being a part of it with us.
Absolutely. We'll keep you updated as more information comes out. This is definitely a story that's not going away anytime soon.
And in the meantime, head over to the comments. Let us know what you think about all of this. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
And of course, if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out.